But also want to thank my fellow Georgians for all that you have done to help us continue to move in the right direction to protect lives and livelihoods, to continue to follow the guidance, use the best practices, to do the 4 things for fall: socially distance yourself, wear your mask, wash your hands, follow the guidance and procedures that we have in place, like avoiding large gatherings, and we'll continue to be able to drive these numbers down. And we'll continue to be able to reopen our economy and keep our state moving in the right direction. So with that, I want to wish everyone a happy and a safe Labor Day weekend, and we'll be glad to take any questions.
Governor, you did a fly around like this before the 4th of July. Since then, I believe we've had 190,000 and some odd new infections in Georgia, 3,000 additional deaths. What makes you think doing this again is going to have much effect?
Well, I think a lot's changed since really Memorial Day, then July 4th. We were in a posture, I think the state was, of our numbers were great, our hospitalizations were down, people were not taking the virus seriously. I think a lot of people thought that we're kind of over this and we're moving on. And then, you know, summer got here. A lot of people did things that they shouldn't be doing, have been doing over that weekend, large gatherings that created a lot of spread, and we saw, you know, many weeks of having to deal with that. We're back over that hump. The difference I think that we see now is our citizens. You know, Georgians are smart people, and I have great confidence in them, and I think they've learned a lot, like we all have through the pandemic. I think people are more aware now that the potential for spread after a holiday is more so than it was Memorial Day and certainly 4th of July. But we just have to continue to reiterate this message. It's why I'm so grateful that the mayor, the delegation, and the media is here today to help us spread this message. And we need Georgians to be part of the solution, not part of the problem over the weekend. You know, we want people to be out having fun, spending money. Everybody needs that. Their families need it. Their kids need it. Our small business owners need it. But we have guidance in place where we could do that safely. We just need that guidance to be followed. You know, just common sense things like if you're going to a restaurant and you're standing in line waiting on a table, you know, there's guidelines inside that restaurant to keep you safe and to keep their staff safe. But when you're standing in line, waiting, socially distance yourself. You know, wear your mask. Wear it to the table. Don't take it off till your food comes or your drink comes, and just try to do everything that you can to limit the spread. Be respectful of other people. Whether you're going grocery shopping or whether you're on the beach, just spread out, keep your distance, and if we do that, we will weather this weekend in great shape. We're poised. We're in a really good position. We are a lot better off than we were 4 to 6 weeks ago going into a holiday weekend. I would hate to think about going into a holiday weekend in the status that we were 4 to 6 weeks ago. So Georgians have done the right thing, and they know what to do, and I'm just asking everyone to please do that throughout the weekend so we can continue to get more and more normalcy every day as we move into the fall.
Governor, as Russ mentioned, you did a tour like this before 4th of July, encouraging people to wear masks, and then we saw a spike in cases. So why continue to simply encourage masks instead of mandating them when it hasn't worked before?
Well, I personally don't believe a statewide mask mandate's the way to go. Neither does Dr. Toomey. You know, when we've mandated other things, and Dr. Toomey and I have had this conversation, like mandating people take, you know, AIDS medication or vaccines, it doesn't work very well. We're asking Georgians, and I trust them to do the right thing. That being said, we've given the cities the ability to do mask mandates. Many of them have, but unless they're enforced, it doesn't really matter. And, you know, we had a lot of guidance in place even before some of the local mask mandates that wasn't being enforced, that quite honestly caused a lot of the spread, like large gatherings. So, you know, the mayor and I have disagreed on policy decisions. There's nothing wrong with that in this great republic that we live in, and how we go about doing that. but we both agree that people should socially distance themselves and wear their mask. And that's what we're asking people to do over the weekend. You know, if people are in a place where they don't have a mask mandate and they don't want to wear a mask, or they're just not going to, all I'm asking them to do is be respectful of other people and socially distance yourself from those individuals so we can stop the spread.
Governor, can I get your thoughts on the CDC's decision to extend the moratorium on evictions here in Georgia? What impact that could have?
Yeah, I saw that this week. I haven't really dug into that too much. Our team's working on that right now, and we'll keep everyone posted.
Governor, we've seen from the past with holiday weekends that our beaches are a huge issue. That's where we see a lot of the gathering and the crowding. In the past, I know you provided some resources for them, some GSP officers. Would you be doing that again this weekend?
Yeah, we'll definitely have Georgia State Patrol Lieutenant Colonel Chris Wright's here with me today. They have been brainstorming for the last several weeks on our plans for this weekend, not only, as I said earlier, not only on our roads, but also on beaches. Working with DNR, will be covering beaches as well with their four-wheeler teams, you know, parking lots, state parks. We'll have a lot of our officers out on the lakes to make sure that people are not congregating on an island. I mean, look, a lake's a great place for people to go and socially distance themselves. They just need to stay in their boat, or if they're anchoring, you know, do their swimming around their boat, even if there's others around, and just, you know, try not to get too close to people where we can limit the spread. You know, our beaches, quite honestly, and our state parks and recreational areas are a great place to be. It's outside. You know, if it's very crowded, you can wear your mask. But if you can socially distance yourself, that's the best thing to do. And that's really what we'll be enforcing on the beaches. We don't want to be out there writing a bunch of tickets. We just want to remind people, hey, spread out. And we haven't seen any issues with our beaches or our state parks. Probably the biggest issue we had was people from other states coming here because we were open and they were closed. And I think looking back, they're probably wishing that they had kept their state parks open, because it's been good for our economy and bad for others.
Governor, why was it important to send this message here in the Savannah area to all Georgians?
Well, look, the Savannah area is doing great. The positivity rate over the last 2 weeks is 9.5%. So anything under 10, you're starting to limit the spread. We need to drive that number down closer to the statewide average, and then continue to work on getting the statewide average down. But the 7-day average of new cases on July 24th of 141.3 is down to 63 on September the 1st. So that's a 55.4% decrease. So that's really good. And then probably the best news for me, and the one thing I really watch, is the hospitalization rate, to make sure, you know, if there is a more acute COVID patient, that we have the right kind of hospital room for that patient to get to. The region reported on August 1st 281 COVID patients in the facilities, and on September 1st that is down to 199. So that's almost a 30% decrease in the hospitalization rate. But we're here, number one, because it's a great media market to hit this whole part of the southeast of Georgia, and to make sure that, you know, we're raising the awareness of this. But this is an important part of our state as well, from a tourism and explore Georgia. That's important. I mean, one of the areas of the national economy that continues to suffer is our service tourism industry. Conventions, hotels, restaurants. The industry has worked very hard, and we are working along with them. We had discussions this week at the tourism conference, as well as with other major players of that affects, like Delta Airlines, on how we can continue to work together to have good guidance and good policies and regulations, working with our partners in public health to continue to be able to reopen, have some of our tourists coming back more than they are now, having our business travelers come back more than they are now in a safe way. And I will tell you, I have stayed in hotel rooms in Savannah several times over the last several weeks. Marty has as well, and it's incredible, you know, how well they are doing with their safety guidelines, how they have changed their way in doing business, and it is a safe, way to travel over the holiday weekend. Probably one of the safest places you could be. What we need you to do is when you leave the hotel and go do whatever, to just avoid large crowds and follow the guidance that I talked about. If you're going to a restaurant, if you're, doing some other event, just wear your mask, socially distance yourself.
Dave Johnson, can I get your thoughts on something while you're here? The governor just mentioned how safe he observed things being practiced in hotels, and a lot of that has been from the encouragement of local authorities like Mayor Johnson and the County Commission Chair, Al Scott, on mandating masks for certain arenas. Do you think that would have had more of a bite earlier on and more of an effect on lowering cases earlier if it had been encouraged from the state level?
Well, I mean, I don't believe it would, but I don't have any data to predict that. But like I said earlier, I certainly respect the ideas, thoughts, and policies of local leaders, and sometimes they differ from state leaders. But I will tell you, businesses all over the state, including hotels, have mandated masks and other things, and they had the ability to do that. I've also heard, on the flip side of that, of others that canceled plans to come to Savannah because there was a mask mandate. So, I mean, all those things can cut different ways. I don't think during the middle of a pandemic, now is the time to point fingers at people. We need to continue to work together. It's okay if we disagree on, different policies, but we all agree if you can't socially distance, you should wear your mask, and that's what we're asking people to do this weekend.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.